Put yourself in my shoes. Just don't back into that. That could have been ugly. 300 shows a year. I'm on my last 3 of the year. You never know what next year will bring. And you're down to the wire and you're going, this is it. What if this is the last 3 times I'm going to get to speak? I've said it a million times before that I've said everything I ever want to say in one song in Save One More for Jesus. And every time I speak, I have to look at it like it's my last time, because you just don't know what's going to happen next. What if this is the last video I make for TV Land and we get raptured tonight? Well, I guess if we get raptured tonight, it won't make it to TV Land. So we'd have, God, it would be more convenient for me to get raptured. How's Tuesday? But seriously, I mean, so I thought about it and I said, well, it's Christmas and everyone knows what a Grinch I am about it. And I really decided that I would do the token Jesus is the reason for the season Christmas sermon, because I don't ever get to do that. Well, that's not true. I just have never done it really that I remember. But of course mine has to be decidedly different. I have notes. The official title of this sermon is TV, Movies, Rock and Roll, and Christmas. See, we're already off the beaten track. I was watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit for about 10 hours the other day. I had all these saved up on my DVR and I was watching them like crazy, and I saw this episode where a sniper opened fire on an elementary school. And they had this amazing montage where they were interviewing the children, asking them, you know, what this guy looked like and where he was shooting from, and did they see a gun, did they see a car, and all the editing would show a different person saying he was big, he was short, he was young, he was old, he was in a car, he was in a truck, he was on a train, he was right there on the lawn, he was hiding behind the bushes, he was on a building, and every single one of them gave a different story. And then B.D. Wong, you know, the psychologist character, you know, it cuts in and says, this is very common amongst children, how they perceive an event. You know, when they have to fill in the blanks, this is how they would go about doing it. And they were kind of joking about it in the police station, that if you see how bad it is for grown-ups to recall an event, imagine what it's like for children. You know, especially children that have been this traumatized. And my mind wanders to another event. So that was the TV part. Now we're going to go to the movie part. That a movie came out called The Runaways that starred 2 of the biggest young stars of our day, Dakota Fanning and Kristen Stewart, playing real-life rockers Cherie Currie and Joan Jett, who formed the all-girl rock band in the 70s, The Runaways. And it was very interesting to watch a movie based on something I was present for. I wasn't just like a fan. I knew these girls. I knew these events. I knew all the characters in the movie. And it was very interesting to watch them display events that I witnessed personally. There was a scene in the movie where Cherie performs at the school talent show. Well, I was in the room for that performance. And the song that they did in the movie is not the song she did in real life. And there were so many things like this, and I'm not going to get into poetic license. I'm just saying that there's one event where you understand where children who can't know where someone was shooting from and they can't see everything, their minds need to fill in the blanks. And then we have a movie where you understand they have to take poetic license and they have to make it look better or have to go a certain way for dramatic effect. What I think is really interesting about the story of the Runaways, and this could get me in some hot water, is that it was based on a book that one of them wrote that also recounts parts of history that didn't happen the way it really happened. And again, I was present for it, and the gospel of the history wasn't even true. And the movie was based on some stories that didn't really happen the way they happened. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. And it's funny, you're friends with people, they call you on the phone and go, oh my God, this is what happened today, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And one day, that story becomes a scene in a movie based on a book written by that person, and it's a little bit different than it really happened. Trust me, the real story was really exciting. It was really exciting. They did not need any embellishment going on there. I just think that history has a tendency to rewrite itself over a period of time, especially if a lot of drugs are involved. But here we have two instances where one's a work of fiction, but they're using fact to explain why it's so hard for people to piece together truth. And here we have an event that I witnessed personally that's true, but not exactly the truth. Well, there was another incident that was recorded, and that was the incident in the Bible where Mary is told by an angel that she's going to be the mother of the Messiah. All kidding aside, I'm very upset about this. An angel appears to Mary and says, you are going to be impregnated by God. And you are going to give birth to God's Son. And He is going to fulfill all the prophecies of Messiah, including crucifixion, death, resurrection, and He will be called King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and you will be considered blessed by men. And if that weren't enough, an angel goes to visit Mary's cousin, Elizabeth, and says to her, you are going to also have a child, and he will fulfill the prophecy of the one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord. I had that sister thing stuck in my head because I wanted to bring up Cherie's sister Marie, who is a twin, who's also portrayed in the movie. And every single thing in that movie that portrays her is not like how she was. That's the thing that bothered me the most. Going back to this point, she and I were really close. She was really nice. She was really supportive. And the movie portrays her as really jealous. I thought that was really weird. Again, there was the truth. There was the account of the truth. And the truth wasn't true anymore. But here we have two accounts that are in the Bible of two women that are being told by angels they are going to have these really important babies. One is going to be this amazing prophet, John the Baptist. And the other one is going to be the Messiah. The Messiah. The Son of God. And the day He's born has become the celebration we call Christmas. Talk about the most frustrating and annoying, and if you'll forgive me, blasphemous game of telephone in human history. Something started here, and by the time it gets to this point, it has changed so much. We have just looked at children's need to fill in the blanks because of trauma. When children fill in the blanks of stories that they've heard, we call it lying. When kids come to us, and our kids come to us, and they tell us stories, and we know they're lying, at some point, we put our foot down and say, you're lying. You don't know what happened there, and you're filling in the blanks because you want to make it look like you know something, but you don't. And where I come from, people get punished for that behavior. If I went and made a movie about someone and I embellished and fill in the blanks and lied, I could get sued for that. Or that person could go on Oprah and just bag on my ass. So again, we don't see this as positive and acceptable behavior. And then when it comes to Jesus Almighty, every single person's walking around with their version of it. Because it's Christmas. And Christmas belongs to everyone. I don't know if that's true. My birthday doesn't belong to everyone. It's my birthday. You guys can all celebrate it all you want, but it's mine. It's not yours. It's just mine. And you can celebrate it however you want. But that doesn't mean I think what you're doing is clever or cool or true or even acceptable. In fact, I think it's annoying 99% of the things people give me for my birthday. I don't know why people give me such stupid gifts. People do. Why don't they ask me what I want? And if they ask me what I want, why don't they get me what I want? I don't know. I don't know. But people just love to do things their way. You tell them you want a bowling ball, you get golf balls. I don't know what that's about. But that's just the way people are. That's human nature. Well, human nature is made of flesh, and flesh is made of sin. Oh. And we are doing this to Jesus in celebration of his so-called birthday. I forgot to say, in so-called celebration of his so-called birthday. Because what is Christmas? The answer is, it's many things to many people. That's crazy. Do you know that Groundhog Day is exactly the same thing to everybody? It has a definition, and it's exactly one thing. You know that Halloween is exactly the same thing to everybody? Maybe the ritual around Halloween may be different in different cultures, but it comes down to the exact same thing. Ah, man, but the two birthdays of Jesus, the first one and the second one, become these weird, twisted, international events that fall under the category of, don't push your religion on us, we can celebrate this any way we want. Christmas and Easter. Bah humbug. Because I will not get verklempt. I will not get verklempt. Because we're talking about a person. We're not talking about an energy. We're not talking about a ball of light. We're not talking about cotton candy. And we're not talking about Santa Claus. We're talking about a person. And I think that I have discovered something profound this holiday season. And if this were the last thing I was ever going to be able to say, people would say it's a good thing that was the last thing he said, because no one was ever going to let him open that mouth again. So if y'all forgive me who are here, I have an opportunity to say what I really want to say. And if you step back in life, that's pretty cool. In fact, our soldiers are all fighting for my freedom to say what I really want to say. Wow, that's going to get me an email. I know that. You took a dig at our soldiers. Exactly. I want to say something about my soldiers. And I want to talk about my commander-in-chief. And I want to talk about something that I am convinced I have tapped into the most powerful truth of my entire existence. I know Jesus like nobody else does. That's the problem. That's why I hate Christmas. That's why I'm such a grouch. That's why most stuff around my religion bugs me. Because it has nothing to do with the Jesus that I know. That's my problem. If there was a pedestal I could put myself on right now, I would. If I could hold up a sign saying, me, 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 I would. Because I have invested 28 years in a relationship, not a faith, not a spiritual path, and not a religion